Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Quick look here again at Bitcoin. Looks like Bitcoin held very strong at this 0.5 fib level here at about 62,800. So it's looking pretty solid there in the sense of holding that range, but once more, a little too early to tell. However, larger picture scenarios here, such as Elliott Wave and or the inverse head and shoulders, tell us a different story that we could see a pullback to the low 60,000 range. I'm not personally subscribing to that. I just think it's something we got to be mindful of and understand that there is potential for further correction. There's also potential the price takes off and doesn't look back either. So just keep in mind, we're absolutely in this unique situation where we kind of got to be patient and see where we're at, but we also got to make sure that we secure profits whenever possible. Give you perspective here, we took short last night, got in at 64,800, took profit at 63.5, and got just a decent 20% on the way down. So again, it's just par for the course. You kind of take trades when you can, but we're not trying to hold that all the way down to 50,000, right? There's a difference in that regard. So if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Hit the like button if you could, please, before we get started. Deeply appreciate that. And let's jump right into the Bitcoin back-end liquidation levels here. So when we talked about this yesterday, there is still a heavier concentration forming at the 65 to 66K. But we got to keep in mind, 65,000 is that key fib level, that golden pocket, so to speak. So there's a decent chance that if the price does wake up, it might be one last little candle wake up before the price pulls back. It's really common for that to happen. I'll explain more on the charts when we get there, but when I take a look here at the larger time frames, we do got to recognize that there is still a lot of incentive for the price to continue higher, because there's $10 billion liquidation in one small little $100 range up at about 67,500. Okay, so again, a lot of liquidation up here. If you add it all together, that's somewhere probably 20 to 30 billion as far as the total amount of shorts to be liquidated there. Okay. So why is that important? Well, it's important to know that that is there and that exists because greed is a very real thing. So again, I don't know why people are shorting from a month ago and still haven't secured any profits, but to each their own. So when we take a look here at the daily time frame, let's quickly note, because we looked at the weekly yesterday and we recognize that we have a double stochastic swing or a second bottom swing here up for the weekly on the RSI. So that kind of tells us a lot about the momentum shift. The weekly time frame is actually looking pretty decent. We can also significantly understand the same thing here on the daily time frame, minus the fact that we are tentatively rejecting here at the 150-day SMA. Again, this candle wick is pretty strong here today. Keep in mind, here, let me go ahead and remove these patterns here. And once again, I'll just send that on our playout chart later so you can kind of see. But well, this candle wick here is a very aggressive wick. This does imply that the bulls have controlled this session and that there's a strong likelihood of the price going higher because it's somewhat of a, I think it's referred to as a dragonfly doji, where the price action continues further up because in this period of time, it's tried to go down and hasn't yet, right? But once again, with liquidation being just above the price action, I would not be surprised if we see, some kind of push like this, and then the price comes back down to these lower levels because it sweeps these late shorts here, and then of course destroys a whole bunch of longs on the way down. Okay, so again, just know that those things are very real scenarios in trading, but generally speaking, from this point right now, we're looking pretty solid. We close above 65K today. I think that's a good chance we're going to probably see a continuation of the upside. Okay, so again, being above all moving averages is extremely important. We haven't had that in a while, and I think that would be a good catalyst, so to speak. It could also be like the biggest fake out ever, too. You never truly know with this market. It is very ruthless. All the more reason why you secure profits when you can. However, daily time frame, we're over 50 on the RSI. Stochastic is trying to swing down. Hasn't yet, but money flow index is increasing. We want to pay attention to MFI because, again, this is basically just an average of the last 14 trading days. So in this case here, we can see a lot more volume flowing into the coin versus the previous 14 days where money was flowing out of the coin. Okay, again, that's just generally a favorable sign. So the daily time frame we can kind of construe as extremely beneficial. It's definitely very good. What are we looking at for the 4 hour here? Well, we had a pretty solid amount of overextension. We saw we were overextended leading into this, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Basically, we had 9 additional candles to the upside. So we had roughly 72 hours of continuation. That's why, generally speaking, you're going to see a fourth red day when you see 3 black, well, no, not 3 black crows, that's the inverse. 3 white soldiers. When you see 3 white soldiers, 3 strong green candles close, that's 72 hours of continuation. The fourth day is generally going to be red. Now, we haven't seen that yet here, so to speak, even though we do have 3 green candles. Generally speaking, we may see today be red, which is already kind of starting. Okay, so again, just generally speaking, that's how overextension works. Oftentimes when you see things in threes and fives tend to be pretty consistent numbers in trading, 50 specifically, and then 3 days, so to speak. I think what I'm trying to get at here is that we're overextended. It makes sense for the price to want to pull back for multiple reasons, to honor the significant or the normal retracement, right? Because there's a lot of profit to be taken here. There's also a CME gap too, if you didn't catch it. I sent this update on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, just kind of letting you know that 58.5 upwards of 61K as a round number, rounding up a little bit there, has a solid amount of value there with the CME gap. So just know if the price action does end up pulling back for this inverse head and shoulders, we could very well see the price pull back down to this 58.5 and then launch. Okay. It may not come that low. It would seem less likely. In fact, if that happened, there'd be a lot of fear in the market. But generally speaking, we have a lot of support at 58,500. So I wouldn't be too concerned with taking a long at that level if it happens. Either way, having said all of that, this is a 4-hour time frame. Let's go ahead and summarize here. We're still kind of testing 70 on the R side. We drop back down below. That's generally construed as a take profit scenario. So you should have taken profit when the RSI crossed over 70 there. And at this point here, stochastic swinging down, and of course MACD is trying to, or not trying to, but it's losing its momentum. Okay, so we just got to have this natural cooling off period before the next leg up. Again, traditional trading is supposed to happen that way. That's how it's supposed to work out. There's a lot of momentous scenarios in crypto though that don't really honor those traditional trading rules. So anything could honestly happen, but at this point here, let's take a look at some of the good confirming factors here. Let us know that we are kind of in a funky situation here. In other words, we have this situation where we have the lagging spans free and clear, but it already kind of touched the price action. The conversion lines below the baseline now telling us we've lost the momentum to the upside, but we're still over the cloud. So we got 2 out of 3 reasons here as to why you should probably leave your long either open or consider a long, because there's more propensity for the price to go higher than lower. Once more, smaller time frames are telling us this. So we take all this and combine it together. There's still a great chance that the price is going to break out and continue higher. Okay. The only reason why we took our short yesterday was because that overextension leading into this key level resistance, and all we did was short from one resistance to the next support. Okay, that's really all it is. We took majority profits. At least with my trades, I take most of my profit in the first target, and I do recommend to my community take as much profit as you can on the first target, just because the market is so volatile right now. You got to walk away with some kind of some pocket change. All right, you're not going to have that if you don't ever take profits. Anyways, that's kind of the overall sentiment here for the hourly. So everything together kind of lets us know that we're more likely to increase, but I would not be surprised if we see one last wick up here to destroy the late shorts, and then the price action to pull back here to destroy the late longs, and to essentially, Bob's your uncle at 60,500. So me personally, I think we are going to see that lower range soon, but it really depends on how things end up performing here today. Again, we're going to pay close attention to this. So what I'll do is I'll post our updates on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. And if you're part of our Discord here for my premium group, bear in mind, again, I have this trade alerts section where I kind of provide you with heads up. Like yesterday, for example, we talked about Elliott wave, CME gaps, head and shoulders, possibly bringing the price action down, and then we're planning to take a short to these levels. Again, that's the whole purpose of this here, the trade alerts, is to get you a little bit more relevant information on the overall situation as to what I'm thinking with the trades. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's there to help you. Be sure to utilize that. Otherwise, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Deeply appreciate you watching. If you haven't yet already, again, take advantage of this exclusive offer here from BitUnix. Amazing exchange, no KYC or VPN required. We use them specifically in our community for the last year now, almost a year now, and it's been an awesome experience. Thank you, BitUnix, and thank you too for just making my life a better place, just being able to interact with awesome traders day in, day out. I love you. Thank you again. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.